Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first monologue of 2024. And today, quick chat about tourism. Just picked this as a topic to touch on many things because there are a lot of things in the tourism sector that's all come into play this year. First of all, first of all, the background of it. I've always said that tourism and travel, or I should say travel, is a very valuable part of the human experience. And if you're fortunate enough to have opportunity to travel, you learn a lot about different places, different people, and it helps you grow as a person. But now let's talk about the tourism industry, or what we call the tourism industry in Kenya. First of all, philosophically, I don't like referring to tourism as an industry. Industry creates and manufactures. Tourism neither creates, neither manufactures nor produces anything. It's just a facilitator. So once we see this tourism sector as a facilitator, we will know where to place them in our national discourse about our country. And this is the source of policy problems. The fact that we have that strange ministry called wildlife and tourism, or is it tourism and wildlife? Um, Tourism has no business at the table where we are discussing conservation policy. But I've talked enough about that in the past. If you look this year, we have increased by huge factors the cost of entering our national parks. And this was based on the fact that we assume someone who has flown thousands of miles from Europe or the United States or Asia, wherever, will pay whatever he's asked to pay at the gate of a national park, which may be true, I don't know. But what does it say about the local Mordecai who wants to just pop into the park and show the kids some birds or animals? It shows that the sector does not care about us. They couldn't care less about me. That's why they raise prices to those crazy levels and put it even on some government e-citizen platform that further creates inconvenience for me, even one who might want to pay. For a foreign visitor, he has a travel agent that's handling all that, so he doesn't even know about this stuff. Secondly, the second symptom within the conservation sector is we have some strange thing now called seasons. Kenya is a tropical country sitting on the equator. My home is about 6 kilometers from the equator. But now I have to pay different charges at a certain park because it's winter or summer in the northern hemisphere. And now they are deciding that since it's winter there, it's high season in Kenya, and the charges must go up, even for me, who lives here in Kenya, a co-owner of this heritage. That shows how tourism and the focus on tourism as an industry can defile a country's thinking. And the long-term effect remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. And this imagination that somehow people will always want, there's no threshold at which we are making it too difficult to enjoy what we have as a country. What we have, no one's produced it. Tourism never manufactured any elephant or mountain or lake or river in Kenya, or lion. This is what we have. We never paid for it. It's priceless. And if we want to share it, we must find more civilized ways of first partaking in it as its owner, then sharing it with others. Look at what we've come up with as far as entry requirements to this country. We told people that it's visa free. So people ramping up their plans, getting here, and they find there's something called electronic travel authorization, which has to be done some days in advance, costs some money, etc. We could just have visas, but they could be free. They could be easily, smoothly paid for on location or on arrival. Let them work that out. But there's always a threshold. We must think long term. We must think, what are we doing? Are we enhancing intra-Africa connections by doing this kind of thing? I mean, South Africa recently, a few years ago, removed visa requirements, and my last visit there, which was the first for over 20 years, I went there and literally at the airport, I was only asked one question: how long are you staying? And he stamped my passport, and I went through. That's visa free. That's free intra-African travel. This ETA thing, again, time will tell. But the lesson for Kenyans as a people is we must get away from needing, always trying to perform for outsiders. The former minister Najib Balal had some ridiculous plan where he actually put together a committee, a task force to look at consumptive use of wildlife, because somebody had told him that we can shoot these animals and serve their meat to visitors at lodges. That task force there, and I have a copy of its report, it actually recommended that we should do that. But noise from activists, myself included, put paid to those plans. This just shows how stupid you get when you start pandering to the foreign gaze. I hope Balala is still ashamed wherever he is. But this is a microcosm of many things we get wrong in Kenya. We grow crops because crops for which we have no use, because somebody somewhere wants it. It can be exported somewhere. We have food insecurity because a lot of our fertile lands are used for growing non-food items to satisfy external markets, which pay us, and then we use the same money to buy food to feed our children. So these are the problems we have. Even our education system was formulated by foreigners, funded by foreigners, and brought here by foreigners. And it's now floundering because we can't find any reason within ourselves why we are doing it. So this is a snapshot that shows us that Kenya must find value within itself, reasons within itself, to have policies to do what we do and pursue the things we pursue. When we do that, we will be able to achieve our aims, change direction when we need to, and stop always looking out the window to wonder who thinks about what we are doing before we make any move of our own. We are going to struggle in many ways, intellectually, psychologically, and even nationally as a people, if we keep pandering to these external gazes. Right now, many Kenyans, especially the middle class, will quote to you that our economy is doing well because the World Bank says so, because the IMF says so. These are profiteering Western hegemony institutions. They have no interest in us doing well as an economy. In fact, when we do poorly, they gain, because they aim to make profits by lending us money, imposing on us draconian conditions, and profiting from the same. So if those external parties say our economy is doing well, yet your pocket is empty, I'd suggest you look at your pocket instead of looking at what's being said on the international news outlets. So this year, individually and as a nation, I hope we can find reasons within ourselves, within our nation, within our society, to do the things we do, to think the things we think, and even read the materials, the books we read, and the knowledge we gain. Let it be something that edifies and builds us up individually and as a society. Maybe then we'll get somewhere. Otherwise, the external gaze has been leading us astray for very long, and it still will if we don't turn our backs on it. Have a good year, everyone.